to say what? Oh, for Christ's sake. It's the VMX Show, Season 7.
Da-da-da-da. Here we are. The VMX Show, Season 7, Episode 7. Don't pick number 77. That was the advice that I got at the beginning of Bioshock Infinite, and wow. Should have followed that. Well, whatever. Yeah, I was just playing Bioshock Infinite. Fucking awesome game. Can't wait to get back to playing, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it right now. I'm puking rainbows. I'm puking rainbows about Bioshock Infinite. But we got to do the VMX show. So let's see. I did want to make an announcement now about the scheduling. As you guys know, after this season of the VMX show is done, we're going to do Season 1 of Gamers Encyclopedia, and then after that, another third show that I was kind of like not really ready to announce because it was still in the development cycle. I can tell you now the title of that third show will be 10 Facts, and it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be a trivia thing. You guys are going to enjoy it, I think. And then after 10 Facts, which we'll go for 10 episodes, each season having 100 facts, back to VMX show. So I just want to talk about the schedule there very briefly. Let's talk about the questions and comments from last time. Got quite a few to get through, so let's do this. Alright, let's see. Scrolling down to the beginning. Mr. Person of Epic says, "You're awesome, bro. You deserve more subscribers." Well, thank you. I think it's not really about deserve, but thank you anyway. I think I got a pretty good amount, actually. Let's see. Monk237 says, "Good show as always, Necro. You mentioned the Warriors film in this episode. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. Did you ever get a chance to play the Warriors video game for PlayStation 2 or regular Xbox? As far as beat-em-ups go, it was one of the best I have ever played, in my opinion. If you come across it, check it out, because it gives a lot of backstory of the characters." I'm well aware of what it is. I haven't ever gotten the chance to play it, because I never had the chance to actually find a copy, but it's one of those things that's on my radar. Let's see, The Last Samurai 14 says, "Hey Necro, nice episode this week, even if it happened to be a bit short. I don't have a question this week, but I do want to say that I finally got around to finish Kotal last weekend's Chronicles of Dark Lord, and it is now at the top of my list of games to Let's Play when I get better equipment." I'm very glad to hear that. Kazareth has created a truly awesome experience, and I hope that those commentators who have taken notice will continue to give the series the publicity it deserves. I wish you all good luck in finishing War of the Abyss. Well, I gotta tell you, it's coming along great. I mean, we did... originally it was going to come out in 2012. We're looking at late 2013 now because we had to switch engines. But let me tell you, it was a good choice. It's a fantastic game so far. I mean, it's going to win some awards, I think. And I'm not just blowing smoke here. It's going to make the first game look like crap. Sorry to say that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, so, a second, I'm just replying to someone there. Okay, let's see, Uber McPhilsauce, "I like to think that Michael Moore doesn't subscribe to me made me lol." Using that, I'm guessing you don't like the filmmaker Michael Moore, but do you find any of his movies interesting? Personally, I don't agree with him most of the time, but I find them worth watching. I don't find anything he does worth watching. He pulls stuff out of his ass. Nothing he does is good. Seriously. Nothing he does is good. That man needs to just jump off the mortal coil while screaming, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And that's really the best thing that's going to happen with him. Not the person who posted, but, the big fat Michael Moore. Mr. Lover of Ganja says, "What is the worst porn title you've ever seen?" Mine is probably All Holes... All Holes Filled with Hard Koch. I guess, yeah. K-O-C-H. I'm not even joking, a Koch, or maybe it's Koch Brothers themed porno. My faith in humanity is now gone. Off the top of my head, I mean, that's pretty bad, but, we did it on the List Critics, where we went through, this whole list of, really terrible porn titles. I'd recommend you check that out. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but, that's pretty bad. Holy KL1 says, "Will you get a PS Vita for Ys 4, and are you a fan of adventure games or digital novels in the vein of Phoenix Wright and 999 on the DS?" Yes and no. I will get a Vita to play Ys 4, and I am not a fan of adventure games for the most part. Very rarely will I get into them. Very rare. It's really not my genre. Irish Talk says, "Hey Necro, I recently played the demo Zombie U. The game gave me the same sense of panicky delight and fear I used to get from playing games like Doom or Resident Evil in the middle of the night with no lights as a little kid. Are there any games you played that have freaked you out as an adult? Not really. I mean, I always say the scariest game ever was Doom 64 because of the atmosphere and the music and the ambient sounds and everything, but still, games don't scare me. I mean, I don't get that feeling. I just enjoy the hell out of them. The same thing goes for horror movies. I enjoy them, but I don't get scared by them. Savage Broadcast says, Necro, if all media goes digital or downloadable when it comes to gaming, wouldn't that make those consoles in decades to come I think you mean once. So we'll say once. Once the service provider shuts, or if you buy it used and it comes with a hard drive / storage of previous games completely worthless, since I have a feeling that is what will happen to ones like the PSP Go. Also, did you ever finish Yoshi's Island DS, and what did you think? Well, with digital rights management, I think that the way to go is using accounts that you can roll over. Like Steam. I think Steam. I don't own physically any of the games in your Steam library, but you do have them, and you can come on a new computer and just re-download them as long as you validate your account. I did play a little bit of Yoshi's Island DS, but I kind of forgot that I had it and stopped playing it. So now that you reminded me, I kind of want to get back to that. But the thing is, on my 3DS, I've been playing the hell out of Fire Emblem Awakening, and it's just so many games, so little time. Let's see. Alex Shannon says, so what kind of theme would be good for a new Mega Man series? IMH, in my humble opinion, Capcom needs to reboot Resident Evil and what are you talking about? You're talking about Mega Man, then you go to Resident Evil? Wait, hold on. Let me read this to myself and see if you have anything to say. Yeah, you don't really have... Alright, I'm moving on here. Okay, Rion Suiko says, hard copies or digital downloads, which do you prefer, be it for movies, music, video games, or anything else? I personally prefer physical copies, and I know that's becoming the unpopular opinion. I am slowly warming up to digital downloads, mostly because I really like Steam. I like the physical copies, it's just that I do, run into the problem of not enough space, especially with, I have like 300 GameCube games, and that's just one system, And then I have a lot of Xbox 360 games and a lot of Wii games and and a lot of PlayStation 2 games, and it does take up a lot of space. I do hope that the physical copies don't go anywhere and that it's still an option, but I am warming up to digital as long as it's handled well. LV09X Music says, hey Necro, other than GoldenEye, what is your favorite Bond game? I love how he assumes that it's GoldenEye. Well, guess what? It is GoldenEye, but it's not the one you're thinking of. It's the one on the Wii, so there. The Nintendo Pimp says, what concerts are you looking forward to this year? Me, I'm looking forward to seeing Primus. Oh, really? When come to my area... Okay, I think you mean when they come to your area in the summer. Other than concerts, I really want to go to Midwest Fur Fest, possibly Really? All right, I'm gonna just not read the rest of that because I just I haven't been to a concert in since 2011. Just don't have the time. Let's see, what in 2011? I can't remember if the last one I saw was Iron Maiden or if it was Transatlantic, but it was one of those. I think Iron Maiden was the last one I went to. They were both around the same time, and they were both in New York City. I would like to see Dream Theater again, especially since I haven't seen them since Mangini joined the band, and I would like to see that. But yeah. Okay, moving on. Kakarot1436, what's your opinion on the more extreme types of metal like black and death? I do like them both. I like death metal a lot more than I like black metal. Black metal, I feel, is very, very much affected by Sturgeon's Law, which is 90% of everything is crap. So there's very few good black metal bands, but when they're good, they're great. Death metal, I tend to like a lot more of it. But yeah, I dig both those forms of music. Let's see, Slayer Darth. He's responding to someone. I told you guys not to respond to people. That kind of bugs me because it confuses, especially when the original person deletes their comment for no particular reason. Okay, Almighty Santa says, thanks about answering my question about feeding my dogs. The reason I ask is because I leave them with my friend when I'm away from home due to work. Also, 2 shows ago, someone brought up Avatar. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not my all-time favorite, but it is a great movie. District 9 was also very good in my opinion, and it's a shame that neither were ever nominated for an Oscar. Well, you say neither. Well, District 9 was nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Avatar was nominated for Oscars. It just didn't win Best Picture, but I think Avatar did win a bunch of others. Okay, Okay, not reading these replies. Okay, also from Almighty Santa, now for 2 questions. First, what would you like to see in a new Star Wars movies? I don't know, I want it to be good. What would you like to see? I hate these kind of questions. It's like, what would you like to see? I'd like to see a good movie. If I can predict it, then it's not going to be any good, because I like to be surprised. And number 2, what do you think the upcoming Justice League movie will be like? I have no idea. They haven't even casted it yet. No. Will they take a darker turn, much like Dark Knight, or do you think it'll be more like the Avengers? I'm personally thinking the latter. Well, I do agree they'll probably go for the Avengers style, but I think it'll be a little darker than the Avengers. And here's Michael Moore again. Hey, Necro, here's a follow-up question. Have you ever thought of shaping your beard like a nicely sculpted hedge in a front yard, or are you more of a free-flow? Okay, you're weird. I'm moving on. Let's see. Puffness left me 2 comments. Let's see. The first one says, what is the craziest commercial you ever see? And do you like Nickelback? You know, I'm just going to say no to that entire comment. Big fat no. Big fat sack of no to that entire comment. And he also asked me if I like Big the Cat. Once again, a big, fat, steaming, salty, gross sack of no. S-Serpent21 says, Dear Necro, thank you for reading my comments and questions. Did you ever get into the non-Fleming Bond books? I'm interested in finally cracking Colonel Sun and one day Icebreaker. Thank you, have a good day. I have a bunch of them, but the problem is that they're very hard to find because most of them are out of print. They haven't been reprinted like the Fleming books. You can't even get them on Kindle. So you're going to be like buying used books off of eBay, and it's a huge pain in the ass. That's what I wound up doing, and I don't have them all, but yeah, good luck on that. Let's see. Drewland94 says, Hey Necro, did you hear the new Xbox always on DRM rumors? If you did, do you think this will be the downfall for the Xbox? No. Okay, first of all, it's not a rumor. It is confirmed that the next Xbox will have like some sort of always on DRM system, and that it will have mandatory installs. And somebody that I know was completely freaking out about this. Oh, it's the downfall of everything, and this and that, and there's not going to be any used games, and this and that. And I said, listen, the PlayStation 3 already does that with the installs, first off. And secondly, you know, the always-on DRM for the console is fine. The only problem is there has to be some way to play it offline, and I think there will be a way to play it offline. It's probably that when you're not online, it's probably going to be like sort of like Steam, where saves are going to be handled different and things like that. Because like think about it, Steam is an always online thing, but you can play it offline. The Mogul Master says, just got back from vacation in Florida, in which I got to eat alligator and ride a boat out on the ocean. Also, I saw both Skyfall and Django Unchained, which were both good. Skyfall was excellent. It was both the first Bond movie I ever saw fully and would possibly put it in my top 10 favorite films. It was great. Django Unchained was also great, though it felt a little long. It's still very good. One question, I like Frank Zappa. Any similar artists I can get into? I'm looking. Nobody is really similar to Frank Zappa, but the closest thing that I would recommend would be Captain Beefheart. And finally, Levite, or maybe it's Levite0401, says, Necro, if you could visit any time period, what time period would it be? And what are your thoughts on the Sly Cooper games, if you have any at all? By the way, terrific show. I don't have any thoughts on the Sly Cooper games. I've never played any of them. As for what time period, oh, that's a rough one. Let's see. That's interesting. I kind of like want to visit like the turn of the 20th century, like like kind of like what BioShock Infinite is, that kind of era. Because I just like all that Art Deco kind of crap. So, yeah, there's that. So, hold on one second, and yeah, okay. So let's get to the news. I do have more to talk about than last time. So there we go. Let's get to the news. Okay, so like I said, got quite a bunch of news here. First thing to talk about, Injustice: Gods Amongst Us, the big... I just had a brain fart. The big fighting game coming from Warner Brothers Entertainment and NetherRealm Studios of the DC Comics characters. There will be a season pass system going on that will include 4 characters, bonus costumes, and other things. So, Mortal Kombat did this. Basically, it cost $15 or 1,200 Microsoft points, and you get 4 characters for what they call the price of 3, which is according to their press release, which I guess means that each character will cost $5 or 400 Microsoft points a pop when purchased individually. So basically, you're saving $5 by getting the season pass. So There's some silhouettes, but you can't really tell who's who. You know, it's not going to happen. But you will also get Flashpoint versions of some characters, you know, as in the skins, including Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Deathstroke, and apparently also Harley Quinn. So there's that too. So that's the news about Injustice. Now there's been some news coming out of Nintendo about lifting the restriction on the eShop. There's actually two things coming out. One is that there used to be a European eShop restriction, which basically limited the sales, well, restricted the sales of 18-plus rated games in Europe. So, you know, basically they lifted this, and now anybody can purchase any game at any time. Previously, the restrictions were that mature rated content were limited to being sold between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., which is weird. I guess they figure the kids aren't up, so they can't buy it. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, though. But here is a quote directly from Nintendo. They said, following analysis of the parental control system on the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS in cooperation with USK, the German entertainment software self-regulation body, it was deemed that Nintendo's parental control system was found to have proved itself in practice. So I guess that means they don't have to do this anymore? I'm not exactly sure what they're getting at there. It was a stupid restriction to begin with, so... Big news coming out of Capcom. They have commissioned a remake of the NES classic DuckTales to be made. It will be a remake of the NES version of the game with similar, or really the same gameplay. It's called Disney's DuckTales Remastered. It's being developed by WayForward. Basically, it's just new graphics and some new areas. A lot of people are really excited. There's a trailer out there. It will get you to sing the theme song. Apparently, they also got all of the voice actors that appeared in the DuckTales cartoon way back in the 80s and 90s have all reprised their roles to be in this game. This is going to be a big deal. It doesn't actually say here I don't think it says what systems it's coming out for. Let me skip to the end of it. Yeah, it just says available summer 2013. I assume it's going to be for PlayStation Network, Xbox Live Arcade, and WiiWare eShop, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, it does say Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network, and the Wii U for $15. It's definitely a day one purchase for me, so that's a big deal. Also coming out of Capcom, because they had a panel, Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. Let me actually bring that up here. I have the article here. Basically, there were some Dungeons & Dragons beat-em-up games in the 90s that Capcom made for arcade. And it's called Chronicles of Mystara, and you can get this on the Wii U eShop, Steam, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live Arcade. Chronicles of Mystara will comprise 1993's Dungeons & Dragons Tower of Doom and 1996's Dungeons & Dragons Shadow over Mystara, which were 4-player arcade beat-em-ups, hack-and-slash type games that never came to any of the consoles, except for, I think, the first one came to the Saturn, and it was only in Japan, and it was only 2 players, so it kind of sucked in Shadow over Mystara never came out. These are great games if you play them on MAME or whatever. And Chronicles of Mystara includes both these games. You can get them for $15. That's coming out in June, so that's also kind of a cool thing. Bad news coming out of Capcom. There was rumors over the past week or so of a new Mega Man game coming along the way. They said, no. They say they are having ongoing discussions about Mega Man, but they're not ready to announce anything until something is ready. So there you go. So don't get too excited about Mega Man. There is a third Alice game on the way, but apparently what they said about it originally is not true. Originally, they said that it will be a AAA title, as the first 2 were, but now they're saying it's not going to be a AAA title. It's going to be a little bit more of a lower budget title, and so far the working title is American McGee's Alice in Otherland. Don't know if that's going to be the final title, but that's what they're working with right now. So just figured I'd want to throw that one out there for any fans of the Alice series. Here's one for fans of Etrian Odyssey, and I know there's a few Etrian Odyssey fans. Etrian Odyssey 4 is is barely out, and already we have a new game, or rather an old game. There is a new Etrian Odyssey game which is called New Etrian Odyssey Millennium Girl, which is a 3DS reimagining of the original Etrian Odyssey. So there you go. So apparently it'll be more story-driven, and this is coming out of Japan on June 27th, and judging from the fact that the Etrian Odyssey games have especially lately become a lot more popular here in America, I'm thinking that we might get that. So there you go. Okay, now the 3DS recently went through a firmware update. If you own a 3DS, you might be aware of this. This will happen the next time you open the 3DS eShop. You will be prompted to update the system hardware. Now, this is not a huge big deal, but basically it's streamlining how the download later button works. So as soon as you close you don't have to exit the eShop, you just close the 3DS and it starts downloading. So there you go. You can also move save data from a packaged version of a game to the eShop version, but you can't move it back, so keep that in mind. And there's also further improvements to overall system stability and other minor adjustments. Now, some Japanese folks have been having some issues with this firmware update, but no news yet as if this is happening in America. So that's happening. If there is, actually, Nintendo of America said if you do run into an error message, turn the 3DS off and turn it back on while holding the L, R, A, and up buttons, and apparently that'll clear it out. So, I guess that's is that a big deal? I couldn't tell if that was good or not, but there you go. Okay, so let's see. Phantasy Star Online 2 won't be coming to America soon, because it got delayed. Apparently, it was originally given an early 2013 North American launch window. Now they have no specifics, but we'll update everyone as soon as there are more details to share. It has been playable online for over a year and was showcased at PAX Prime 2012, but hasn't been released here in North America yet. So if you've been looking forward to Phantasy Star Online 2, all three of you gotta wait a little longer. There was a remake of Double Dragon 2 coming out, and this is really bizarre because I thought it might have been kind of like Double Dragon Neon. Instead, it's more of a 3D brawler, and it's actually called Double Dragon 2 Wander of the Dragons. This is coming from Gravity Studios to Xbox Live Arcade on April 5th for 1,200 Microsoft points. That is bizarre. That's just weird. I'm looking at a screenshot, and that doesn't look like a Double Dragon to me, but there you have it. Big shakeup over at Square Enix. There's been a restructuring, and the president of the company has stepped down. Basically, they're saying, this is really weird. They're saying that a bunch of their new games, such as Hitman Absolution and Tomb Raider, did not meet sales expectations, which is weird because those games, especially Tomb Raider, are selling like gangbusters. So I think they need to restructure their idea of where their targets are in terms of sales. It's very strange. Good news for fans of Spelunky on the Xbox 360. This is also coming out to PlayStation 3 and the Vita, so you can have your Spelunky on the go on the Vita, and that certainly seems like a good deal. If you're one of the people that played the game Primal Carnage, it's getting a sequel called Primal Carnage Genesis. This will be one of the launch games for PlayStation 4. So, they're aiming for it to be a launch title for PlayStation 4. I wouldn't even mention that, but I figure I'll mention it just because, it's, going to be a launch title for a new system. Another game that's coming to the Vita is Limbo. If you remember, Limbo was on Steam and Xbox 360. Really cool indie game. This is coming out for Vita. Might be for PlayStation 3 as well. No, it's already on PlayStation 3, but it is coming to the Vita. No details beyond that, so it will just be coming to the Vita. Nothing really to say about that. Now, I mentioned Nintendo lifting restrictions. I talked about the age restrictions in Europe. There's another thing coming for developers, especially indie developers, the restriction on, and this is not just in Europe, this is everywhere, the restrictions on making games for WiiWare and DSiWare and things like that are no longer as tough restrictions. Apparently, one of the restrictions was that the indie developers had to have a physical office space. That rule is a thing of the past. Here's a quote from Nintendo. They're saying, more and more people are working from home, and we recognize that developers are forming virtual teams around the world. so it became necessary to reevaluate the rule to make the Wii U and 3DS eShops more attractive to indie developers. We really have only a few requirements to sign up as a licensed developer with Nintendo. The most notable ones are you have to have some experience making games, you have to be able to keep any confidential materials like dev kits secure, and you have to form a company. None of these should be prohibitive to any indie developer. And I agree. Also, apparently, becoming a licensed developer lets you release your games on the eShop anywhere in the Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Europe regions. And there are no longer sales thresholds. Previously, nobody made money on the first 6,000 units. Now you will make money starting from the first unit sold. So there you go. And La Mulana is finally making its way to Steam. This is coming out on April 15th. I'll probably be buying that on April 15th. And my final news story is about Final Fantasy X Remake. Final Fantasy X Remake is coming to the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, and probably PlayStation 4, but they haven't mentioned that yet. If you get the PlayStation 3 version, it will also include Final Fantasy X-2, the game's direct sequel. On the Vita, the two games will be sold separately. So that's all the news for today. But anyway, I do want to get to sales figures, but before that, since this is the last show of the month, it being the 27th right now, I am going to go ahead and go over the releases of video games for the month of April, because there's a lot of cool stuff coming out in April. So let's see. Starting in April 2nd, we'll see the release of Defiance for Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge will be coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. On April 3rd, Battle Block Theater will be coming to Xbox Live Arcade. On April 4th, Tokitori 2 will be coming to the Wii U. On April 5th, Double Dragon 2, Wander of the Dragons, I just mentioned that. That's coming out for Xbox Live Arcade. And Painkiller, Hell and Damnation will be coming to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and actually just those two. April 9th, Age of Empires 2 HD will be coming to Windows, and Guacamelee will be coming to PlayStation Network and PlayStation Vita. On April 10th, Shoot Mania Storm will be coming to Windows. On April 11th, Gemini Rue will be hitting iOS devices. On April 14th, Star Wars The Old Republic Rise of the Hutt Cartel will be hitting Windows, and as I just mentioned, I just mentioned, what was that? Was that Spelunky? No, La Mulana will be coming to Windows as well. On April 16th, Injustice Gods Among Us will be coming to Wii U, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Pandora's Tower will be coming to the Wii. That was supposed to come out actually yesterday along with Bioshock Infinite, got delayed, so it will be coming out on the 16th. And Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers will be coming to the 3DS. On April 18th, Papa and Yo will be coming to Windows. On April 19th, We Sing UK Hits will be coming to the Wii. On April 21st, Lego City Undercover The Chase Begins will be coming to the 3DS. On April 23rd, some big releases here. Dead Island Riptide will be coming to Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, or maybe it's Horizon, actually. That's coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And Star Trek will be coming to Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. On April 24th, Don't Starve will be coming to Windows. Whenever I hear the title Don't Starve, I think of it as Don't Shit Your Pants, that Flash game. On April 25th, Mega Man 4 will be hitting the 3DS eShop. Mega Man 5 is also on the way. I forgot to mention that during the news. And XCOM Enemy Unknown will be getting a Mac version. On April 30th, Soul Sacrifice will be coming to the PlayStation Vita, and Thomas Was Alone is coming to PlayStation Network and PlayStation Vita. And on April... there's a little formatting error there, but these are also April 30th. Dust and Elysian Tale will be hitting Windows. That's the Steam version. And Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine will be hitting Windows, Mac, and Xbox Live Arcade. That's all the big releases for April. I'll certainly be picking up Injustice, Pandora's Tower, and La Mulana. Maybe a few others. Beyond that, in May and June, there are some big games coming out. I mentioned Mega Man 5. Resident Evil Revelations is going to get the HD version. The 3D version of Donkey Kong Country Returns is going to be out. I've mentioned that on the show. The Last of Us will finally be coming out in June, things like that. But I just wanted to go over that. Oh, I actually also wanted to talk about Civilization 5 Brave New World. Forgot to mention that during the news, too. Civilization 5 is getting a new add-on. There was already Gods and Kings. It's also getting Brave New World, which will include 9 new civilizations. We do know that one of them is Poland. 8 wonders, 2 scenarios, trade routes, and the World Congress mechanic to the core game. 3 of the 9 playable civilizations and their leaders have now been confirmed. Okay, so it's not just Poland. Let's see. Casimir III of Poland, Pedro II of Brazil, and Ashurbanipal of Assyria. So those are 3, and there will be 6 more. And also, apparently, they will have XCOM units in the end of the game. I can't wait to play this. I'm a big Civilization 5 fan, so there's that. Okay, finally, I wanted to talk about the sales figures for the past week, so let's get to that. Okay, so starting with the top 10 best-selling games in Japan, this is for the week ending in March 17th. The top-selling game was Sword Art Online Infinity Movement on the PlayStation Portable. That sold 135,600 copies. Kingdom Hearts on PlayStation 3 sold 130,321 copies. Super Robot Wars UX on the 3DS sold 117,736 copies. Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS sold 59,515 copies. Soul Sacrifice on the PlayStation Vita sold 31,406 copies. Next, Hatsune Miku Project Diva on the PlayStation 3 sold 23,273 copies. Dinosaur Warriors 8 on the PlayStation 3 sold 22,217 copies. God of War Ascension on the PlayStation 3 sold 19,754 copies. I'm seriously sick of the commercial for that. Takes itself way too seriously. Professor Layton and the Legacy of Civilization A on the 3DS sold 15,275 copies, and Far Cry 3 for PlayStation 3 sold 15,147 copies. Over in Europe, the big seller was StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm for PC that sold 127,133 copies. God of War Ascension on the PlayStation 3 sold 113,579 copies. Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 3, 84,355 copies. Tomb Raider for Xbox 360, 65,871 copies. SimCity for PC, 65,402 copies. I wonder how many of those people can actually play it. Number 6, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 for PlayStation 3, 35,661 copies. The same game on Xbox 360, 29,806 copies. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 on PlayStation 3 sold 25,388 copies. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the PlayStation 3, 18,927 copies. And FIFA Soccer 13 on the PlayStation 3, 17,032 copies. Here in the United States, the top-selling game was God of War Ascension for PlayStation 3, 418,624 copies. StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm on PC, 330,828 copies. Tomb Raider for Xbox 360, 60,904 copies. Tomb Raider on PlayStation 3, 48,046 copies. MLB 13 The Show on the PlayStation 3, 44,195 copies. SimCity for PC, 43,277 copies. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on Xbox 360, 32,988 copies. NBA 2K13 on the Xbox 360, 23,332 copies. Major League Baseball 2K3 on the Xbox 360, 20,702 copies. And Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the PlayStation 3, 18,797 copies. So, globally, worldwide, God of War Ascension, the big winner, followed by StarCraft, Tomb Raider, Sword Art Online, SimCity, Kingdom Hearts, Super Robot Wars UX, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 are the big sellers for that week. Over for consoles and systems and whatnot, let's see what's going on. Over in Japan, the top-selling console was the Nintendo 3DS, 68,856 units sold. PlayStation Vita, 35,784 units sold. PlayStation 3, 20,905 units sold. PlayStation Portable, 12,656 units sold. The Wii U, 8,983 units sold. The Wii, 1,461 units sold. The Xbox 360, 507 units sold, and the DS, 96 units sold. Finding it hard to believe that there are 96 people in Japan who did not have a DS. Over in Europe, the top-selling console was PlayStation 3. It sold 41,958 units. 3DS, 29,365 units. The Xbox 360, 25,880 units. The PlayStation Vita, 8,464 units. The Wii U, 6,836 units. The Wii, 5,148 units. The DS, 5,090 units. and the PlayStation Portable 1,318 units. Over in North America, well, that's here, the big selling console was, of course, the Xbox 360, 51,825 of those sold. The PlayStation 3, 39,743 units. The 3DS, 25,260 units. The DS, 13,857 units. The Wii, 12,381 units. The Wii U, 10,074 units. The PlayStation Vita, 5,421 units. And the PSP, that's PlayStation Portable, 835 units sold. So overall, the 3DS is still on top, although the PlayStation 3 is starting to edge its way in there. Xbox 360 still going strong. The Vita, doing good in Japan, not so much everywhere else. The Wii U, kind of floundering. It's going to be a grower, not a shower, I think. So I think it'll pick up. I think the Wii U is this next generation's PlayStation 3. I think that's going to start off really slow and kind of be disregarded, and then years later it'll see this resurgence. The PlayStation 3 is only starting to sell really well, and they've announced PlayStation 4, so that cracks me up. PSP, I mean, what can I say? That's still going strong in Japan. The Wii, going strong in North America. I'm surprised. I think some people are confused with the Wii and the Wii U, though. I did run into some people who don't quite understand that the Wii U is a new console, which is why I think it was bad branding on Nintendo's part. And the DS, that's last generation. That's out, going out the door, obviously, but I'm surprised so many of them sold in America. Just get a 3DS. I don't understand that. But whatever. Maybe they can't afford the 3DS, they get the DS, I don't know. But there you go, that is the sales figures for this week. Kind of a short show this week. I didn't expect it to be this short. I got through everything much quicker than I expected. Didn't have a guest this week. If you want to be on the show, and I've been over this a million times, you can't just pop and be like, okay, we do an interview now? Or no, you got to make an appointment. You got to get me on Skype, tell me when you want to be on, and make an appointment and tell me what you want to talk about and everything. It's not difficult, but maybe I'll have somebody on next week, maybe not. We'll see. I will see you guys next week. I'm going to go back to playing BioShock Infinite. Great fucking game. VMX out.